Divine Quantum Podcast. I am Billy Yuri.
I'm Chris Rabello.
And if you haven't so, please make sure you subscribe on our channel, like this video, and give a comment below on your biggest insights from today. And we have a very special guest today, Zachariah Kalahiki. Embodied Celestial, is that what you say?
Embodiment.
Yeah, Embodiment Celestial. I met Zach a few years ago, and a while ago,
yeah,
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here in Hawaii, you had a huge transformation.
Yeah.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit of your background, where you were, how was your childhood, and going back to the beginning of everything?
It's kind of wild. When I was a kid, my mom had a very abusive boyfriend, and he would beat me and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was when he left. Now I'm 3.5 when this happened, and when he left the house, I burned the house down. I lit the house on fire.
Oh, you literally burned the house?
Literally burned the house.
Okay.
I was on the news, and my grandmother, I just remember they were just making dinner. I'm literally on the news, 3.5 years old. There's like, how did you burn the house down? And I'm like, oh, with some matches.
Oh my God.
And I went into the laundry room, and I actually ran to the convenience store that was at the end of my block.
Yeah.
And I just told the guy, I said, hey, my mom needs some matches for her cigarettes. And the guy's like, oh, okay, here you go. And he just gave me some matches. I went back to the house, straight to the laundry room, lit everything on fire.
Oh,
and my mom was, she's an angel, but she was in no position, I guess you could say, to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went straight to the foster care system. And what's wild is back then they didn't have like a database, like they couldn't just type my name in and be like, oh, here he is. So my auntie went looking for me, my mom's half sister, and like they have me in like a manila folder, and I'm assuming, I think what happened is they like lost my information, so they like didn't really know where I was.
Oh.
But they ended up finding me after a certain amount of times. I think I went to like 3 or 4 maybe foster homes before they pulled me out. And then they ended up adopting me. They pulled me in when I was 5, and then adopted me when I was 7.
Your aunties.
My auntie, yeah. So I stayed with them up until moving out when I was, when I was 18. Like I kind of left as soon as I could.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I worked at a gym. I worked at AT&T, and that's where I met you.
Yes.
Because I knew
Cody. Yeah.
Cody, and that's wild. And it's crazy how we're here now.
I know.
It
feels like we quantum jumped.
Yes,
yeah,
we did.
Right?
The quantum leap, yeah.
But yeah, no, I was always, I was in a Christian home, very spiritual, like, intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always had that connection. And
did all that trauma shaped you to be a certain way?
yeah, I don't want to say too much on here, but
Yeah.
I definitely, my childhood wasn't the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because it's a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, this is kind of graphic, and I can be brutally honest, but I was beaten,
Mm-hmm.
and my dog had did something wrong, and I beat her because of what happened. And when I came home from school, I was like, hey, I'm home, and my dog cowered from me. I quickly realized what was happening to me was not right.
Yeah.
But then I chose to not be like mad at the world, and I guess I handled that type of trauma somehow really well.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have those things happen to them and they're mad at the world, and some people come out and they're these loving, amazing people.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes to trauma and dealing with trauma, I think the biggest realization that you need to realize is that things are happening for you now too.
Yes.
And that was like the biggest epiphany I had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I was never able to take anything that was happening to me personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how did you? Because guys, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to go too deep on that because we know sometimes it can be painful. But when I met you, you were in a completely different dimension. Let's say like that.
Oh yeah.
You were.
I was egotistical. I was a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I was in sales for over 13 years, and
video games. I remember.
I was a pro gamer.
Right?
I streamed on Twitch. I had like 60,000 followers on Instagram for gaming.
Just for gaming.
Yeah, just for gaming, and it was honestly the best time of my life. But now that's their agenda.
Yeah.
Is they want to the agenda of what's going on is they want you to be, they want your soul in a virtual reality, and they want you to progress virtually and not, spiritually. And so I see how video games are now the enemy.
But when you have this awakening, for this transition.
Yeah, how did you transition?
Oh, okay,
the transition for the gamer, for...
So
This awakening, let's say.
Yeah.
So I
Let's
was,
put it like this.
when Fortnite, if you guys know what Fortnite is, when that came out, I basically started streaming it every day, and I got really famous really quick. And when COVID happened, there was all these, when Trump was in office, all these documents got released. And when it comes to astral projection, astral traveling, remote viewing, the Monroe Institute, understanding hemispherically syncing the mind, and basically it was explained to me in a way to where I could understand it, and so I started doing these meditations, and I left my body. I do a specific, I actually reference it in my, I have a university, the Celestial University. We're currently at a little bit under 30,000 students right now.
Okay.
It's crazy.
What is the link so we can put it here in the description?
Oh, it's just embodimentcelestial.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll make sure we
Yeah.
put it here for you guys on the description of the
Yeah,
video.
that's
And I help people holistically reverse diabetes, eczema, autoimmune disease, doesn't matter what it is. And there's tons, and those were the documents that I found too. And there's the Population Control Agenda by Henry Kissinger. The document is called the NSSM 222 document, and it is disturbing. But I found out from reading that document, it segued me into understanding that the body needs minerals, and also the body is interdependent. And there's also a document about the Poon Lim debriefing. It's about a man who was stuck out at sea for 3 months. And if you were to Google him, Google will tell you that he
What is his name?
Poon Lim. Yeah,
Okay.
his ship was torpedoed, and he was stuck out at sea for 3 months. And when they found him, the Google will tell you that he basically caught rain in a bucket, and he caught fish with his life jacket or something. But to be honest, I would love to see anyone get stuck out at sea and catch a fish with your life jacket. It doesn't make sense. But the Poon Lim debriefing, what really happened was he didn't eat anything, and he just upcycled his urine.
What did he upcycle his urine?
He just kept drinking.
And kept drinking?
He just kept
Okay.
drinking his own urine.
That's great.
And what happened was when they found him, he wasn't emaciated. He was glowing. They were like, "What the heck were you doing?" He's like, "I was just drinking my own piss." He would even drink ocean water and then piss it out and then drink it, and it turned into an electrolyte drink. It had everything he needed. It would nourish him, and he was glowing and once I saw that, I started doing other researching in holistic medicines and stuff like that, and you can reverse your bad eyesight. And I use these. This isn't full prescription. They're just it blocks the blue lighting. But you can really, really help yourself. There's a reason why pro boxers and stuff, they do urine upcycling. And so it's it just got me thinking how backwards is this system? But yes, so there was thousands of documents I had read, and one of them was the astral traveling and remote viewing meditation. And when I left my body for the first time, I was freaking out. But things got real for me when I left my body, and I saw something. I saw something watching me. And
was it an entity, an energy?
it was something hanging out of my television, hunching out of my television, watching me. And I was just staring at it out of my body, and I was like, am I really seeing that? And then it started to move and reach for me, and it freaked me out, and I pulled myself back to my body. And the moment that happened, I gave away my gaming setup. I went raw vegan, and I started meditating every day. And then I realized that these things are all around us at all times. We just can't perceive them because of the frequency we're on. And so that's when I just
You start every day.
every day, and I learned how to remote view. I could look at people. If I could think of them clear enough, I could see you exactly where you are. and I learned meditations that I reference in my university. And it's one of the best meditations I teach is the spotlight meditation, and it's just you laying down and with your mind's eye you're spotlighting parts of your body. And this is an experiment you can do with yourself. Just take 15 to 20 minutes, and you can even do it sitting down, relaxing. And when your eyes are closed, you're focusing on a specific point of your body. And so you think about your left knee, and then you hold it, and then you move to like, the bottom of your right foot. And you keep doing this around your body for 10 to 15, 20 minutes. And out of nowhere, wherever you look, you'll get a tingly sensation. And you're going to be like, what is that? And then once you get to that tingly sensation, you bring it straight up to your eye, and you're going to see a bright light. And from there, you focus on making that light smaller. And this, you don't need to actually, this is how remote viewing is done. When you get that light there, you grab it and you try to push yourself through it. And when you do, you're going to see things. Like, it will take you somewhere. And you're just sitting here fully conscious, looking at something you don't even know. But then when you remote view, you have intention on who you want to see, what you want to see, and it will take you right there.
The intentions, could it be bad or good? It doesn't matter. It needs to be good.
Well, when I say intention, it's like the intention of seeing what you want to see.
What you want to see, yeah.
So like if you want to find something, find someone. So there was a remote viewing document where they would show something to like a image of something that was hidden in a compound, and the person would focus on it and do this special meditation, and they could locate it with like 98% accuracy. So it's like, that's wild.
Yes.
So I would do that. I learned how to do that, and then now things got weird when I have been attacked by things. I've been like hit by entities that like left striations under my body. But I realized quickly, like, they can't hurt me. Like I mean, it actually like left a physical mark. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're the supreme beings here. And once the process of my mind changed, like, I can fight these things now. Like, they're afraid of me. And I think that's what it is. They get you to fight yourself, because everything that you experience is self-inflicted. So like, when you're afraid because you're doing it to yourself. So the system will make you fight yourself, your own consciousness. You got 3 levels: your unconscious, subconscious, conscious mind. And if all 3 of your levels of consciousness are at war with each other in some way, these things that are around us that are doing whatever they're doing, they can come mess with you. Then they can do stuff to you. But once you transcend that, I guess you could use the analogy of like when Jesus walks on water, he's walking over his emotions. He's not drowning in his emotions, and that's what happens to us. The system will cultivate you to be a slave to your emotions and not your convictions. And that's what it is. And once you're in that element, you can be messed with, but once you transcend that, then nothing can mess with you.
What is your perception about life? What do you think those things that you see is, or do you have any opinion about that, or
I would say,
or what do you think we are here for?
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I only speak about things of what I know. I have no idea why we're here. I'm assuming it has to do with consciousness. From what I understand now is, like, even the Bible referencing, at first there was the Word. The Word wasn't like the Word, it was numerology. So for all we know, this is the most advanced algorithm running in an infinite amount of ways. And it's a computer system. It's the most advanced computer system that's allowing us to have a physical experience. And that's why numerologies and geometry, all of that, it's all,
linked.
Yeah. So
astrology, because you see a lot of astrology and anatomy and the Bible.
So all religions are based off of astrology and anatomy. And no matter what people will defend, that's exactly what it is. It's not a joke. And when you understand that, you can see the big picture. The whole point of life is to understand the perspective in a very broad way. Once you understand the perspective in a very broad aspect, you can implement the way in all of your things that you do in your life, and you'll see it. You'll see it when you watch movies. You'll see the broad perspective, and that's what people need to get to. And the only way you get there is to consume information. But the system puts you in a little box of expectation, so you get conscripted. And one of my favorite quotes is from Korra. I don't know if you ever watched Avatar, the cartoon. Korra, there's the villain Zahir in the beginning of the series. He says, if you base your expectations only off of what you can see, then you are blinded by the possibilities of a new reality. And that's what's happening. Reality is all around us. But what the system will do is it blinds you to all of it, almost. Like, you're probably getting like maybe 3% of your reality from the system. Like, that's all your comprehension is. But once you start to study all religions, and even like the Bible, you realize the story of Adam and Eve is an actual story of Adam and Eve. It's a story that's derived from the story of Enki and Adapa. They go hand in hand. They all say the same thing. But the thing is, you're forced to, I mean, you're not even forced, just you get conscripted to just follow one religion. And it's frowned upon to follow multiple religions. So if we all stop looking at religion in a literal aspect, and we look at it as a metaphysical concept, then all religions say the same thing. Next thing you know, we're unified. But they want division. They want us saying, if you don't say Jesus is Lord, you're going to go to hell. Oh, you're a Muslim? Well, I'm a Christian and I don't agree with you. That's what they want.
Separation, yeah.
Yes.
And we can see that on his comments. He's very polemic, but this guy's
Polemic.
the polemic.
People come for me. They
Right?
come for me. I get death threats. The thing is, I should be a lot better with my comments sometimes, but I'm in a position where I guess I wouldn't say ADHD is not a bad thing. My mind is extremely high functioning. So
I agree.
What happens is when you get to the level of my awareness, because your mind goes 9,000 miles a minute, you're very analytical and you process things so quickly. And because I think so deeply like that on a very fast level, I tend to lose it when I deal with people that just deliver 2.2 seconds of stupidity. And it's like, that's why I don't hang around a lot of people. I'm usually I'm just sitting in my room. Like, I'd rather be in my own head and just making the content. But the thing is, because I have this awareness and this deepened, this deepened knowledge, it's very important for me to, if I want to spark change, I'll be honest, a part of me doesn't even want to wake up and do these things. But I've seen too much to where I'm compelled. I have to reach and unlock as many minds as possible. And the whole thing is, have you ever heard of, let's see, there was a monkey, this experiment they did with monkeys where there was different islands with hundreds of monkeys on each island. And they would dump potatoes to all the monkeys. Yeah. And the monkeys would be annoyed because they're in the sand, and they would eat the sand with the potato, and they'd get upset. And what ended up happening in this experiment is, I think they showed one monkey how to clean the potato in the water. So the monkey now would clean it, and then the other monkeys would follow along. And without saying anything, because so many monkeys understood that concept of washing your potato, all the other monkeys on the other island, without being told, started doing it naturally. So at the end of the day, it's like, if we can unlock society, if we can elevate the consciousness to a specific level with enough people, that's what awakening is. That's how people are just like, they just know things. And it's because energy is information. That's how you know, like, oh, when someone's staring at you and you look and they're staring at you, or you're like, hey, that's what I was thinking. That's how the information works.
Yes.
But it's like, we all have to play our part to a degree. So now it's like, that's
your mission.
Yeah.
And how did you? Because we have this book here. Yeah. It's when you look at Zach's videos, reels, and most of it is like him explaining and It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
How did you even get to link so many? That's me and Chris.
This-
Like, how
No,
the heck
this is-
did you even link?
This is like 2 grains of sand from the beach. What we've given you, and this is my friend Julio. He did all the illustrations and writings, and we basically have the same information. Just I have a better way of conveying it to people.
Mm-hmm.
So we started hanging out. I flew him out here to Hawaii. He has an apartment right under me, and we're in the process of writing 3 books. And the last one that we're compiling is going to be all of them with as much information as we can. It's going to be called the Celestial Tablet,
Oh.
and it's beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
it's emerald green with pearl paper, so like it has like a luminiferous
Yeah,
color.
Yeah,
It's
I have a lot to say. Oh my God, how is that?
that's amazing.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing. So like we know we're in a heavy state of knowing. Like we really truly know, and
Because
that's
you put a lot of pics to compare the pineapple, the sunflower,
Geometry,
the
yeah.
geometry.
life is in God is in everything that we see,
Mm-hmm.
even the stuff that's GMO'd.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's his signature is everywhere, or source's signature, however her signature.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when how I got onto a lot of this information was when I was leaving my body. I went on Twitter and I was making videos and talking about, because Twitter doesn't get censored,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I couldn't talk about it on Instagram or TikTok because I felt weird doing
Yeah.
it. And what happened was my Twitter got deleted,
Oh.
and I was like, what the heck? And there was no warning, nothing. My Twitter got deleted. I got a phone call, and the phone call was from an organization, and they told me my social and my address.
Oh.
And they said, this is your social, this is your address. We want to work with you. We can't tell you who we are. We deal in the currency of information. If you can teach people in our organization how to remote view and leave their body, we will give you information about what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah. And that's why now I can teach people how to do it, because I spent like almost 8 months teaching people how to do it and try to explain it. So I figured out the easiest way to do it, and then I made it into my web course.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also incorporated all the holistic stuff, like the body's composed. If you were to get cremated, what's left over is the 12 cell salts. So you're made up of minerals.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need vitamins, protein, all that stuff. You need structured jelly water, which is from fruit, and you need minerals.
Mm-hmm.
And that will basically fix your entire inner system. It will fix your organs. And
When you say
That's
minerals, because a lot of people on the internet, they fight over vegans because they say you need to eat your steak to get the minerals.
the
and-
B12.
The B12.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what
can
do you mean
explain
by
some.
mineral? Can you explain a little bit about it?
So when it comes to minerals, when it comes to meat is secondary nutrition. And especially the meat today that we're eating, the meat today is a GMO product made for us to eat. Cows share 80% of our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And chickens, if you're eating chickens are like responsible for colon cancer in men right now. And that's because chickens are supposed to have an average life of 7 to 8 years. And the chickens that we're consuming are fully grown by day 40 and chopped up and ready to sell by day 50.
Inject the steroids.
Yeah. So so no meat is good unless you're the closest thing to meat that should ever be consumed is fish from the ocean. Oh, but the mercury, no. If you get a little bit of fish from time to time, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really eat any fish at all. The whole thing is if you're eating meat, you're getting secondary and trinary nutrition. So what is in meat that makes us thrive?
Mm-hmm.
It's minerals and B12.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're trading those healthy things for also creating acidosis in the body. And acidosis causes mucus, and that's the only thing that is the enemy. Any illness, disease, whatever it is, your body's just riddled with mucus. Every time you get sick, you're congested. Pneumonia, you got mucus in your lungs. That's all it is. So if you're consuming meat, it's a very low, it's a low density or high, yeah. It will basically lower your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And when you understand quantum medicine, quantum healing, quantum frequencies, all illnesses are actually a prescribed frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? They give you the low prescribed frequency food to give you the low frequency, you'll get the low frequency illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So when you transcend that and you bring your vibration to a very high frequency, the lighter, so think of it this way, low dense light becomes matter, and high density matter becomes light, becomes illuminated. So if you are very illuminated, the low density things can't affect you. You can't get sick. You can't get cancer. You can't get those things. But how do you do that? You got to get your mind right. You got to fast. You got to meditate. You got to eat right. So when it comes to steak, not only are you eating a product that is man-made and also shares our DNA, but you're also giving yourself acidosis, and you're getting secondary trinary nutrition. Now, the reason why people that go vegan and say, oh, I almost died, oh, this and that, and it's because any person that was vegan that got messed up or it didn't work for them, they did it wrong. It's because they supplemented vitamins and stuff. And I'm going to explain this. No one should ever be taking any forms of vitamins on the shelves. There's a reason why all the vitamins are itemized from A to Z. And the reason that is because your health is a business. But the most important thing when it comes to the vitamins, it's synthetic. Because the only way it can be on the shelf is for it to be patented. So now, all of these emergency, the Flintstone gummies, the daily, whatever it is, they all contain this B12 complex called hydrogen cyanide cobalamin. And that's what they're making B12 out of. So you have to understand, if you know what cyanide is, if you ever see James Bond, where you'll never take me alive, and they bite their tooth and then they and they croak. B12 cobalamin, it's synthetic, and what happens when you take it is it doesn't know how to leave your body. So it will bind to light metals and oxygen in your body, making you deficient. So when all these people that go vegan, they're like, oh, I'm eating fruit, I feel great for a little bit, and then they're taking the B12 drops with the vitamins that all have the cobalamin. What you should do is just get some burdock leaf, some real sea moss, not like the mainstream sea moss. Like, I can tell you which sea moss is real and which one isn't. I can look at it and know immediately. You just need B12 from the sea moss. Any forms of seaweed have some form of B vitamin. So there's a reason why seaweed is extremely good for you. So you do seaweed, sea moss, all those types of things, and then you get herbs. Burdock root, burdock leaf has all the minerals in it. And then you can get nettle leaf. Like, I have a whole collection of herbs.
Where do they get all of this?
If you go to my... If you were to go to my link, I actually have a friend of mine has a company, the Smooth Generation, and he home grows everything. He has a huge farm, and
here?
No, he's in the Dominican Republic, and he also has land in
República Dominicana.
Where else does he have? I just know he has a lot of land, and he took me outside, and he literally just showed me. He's like, "Hey man, that's where my sea moss is. It's literally right there in the ocean." He just goes and just plucks it. It blows my mind. And once I talked to him, he sent me a little care package, and that is the best thing I've ever done. That's what you need.
Okay, we gotta try that, Chris.
Yeah, but you say about the tofu too, right?
Oh, don't eat tofu.
Okay, see,
stay away from tofu. You have to understand.
No, when I saw, I say, oh my gosh,
it sucks because we love these foods. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved eating brisket. Like, that was like my jam. Like, it was a treat, you know. And also eating like pizza. Pizza's was my favorite thing growing up, and I've had to completely change the way I eat, my habits, and I do eat pizza from time to time. I'll eat pizza on my birthday, you know, and I mean, people will shame me for it. Oh, you know better, but it's like, you know what? I can detox from it and elevate myself from it. But the whole thing is, the B12 complex that they put in everything makes you deprived, and that's why people are aging faster. That's why people fail going vegan, and that's why everybody defends it. Like, oh, the carnivore diet, this and that. Like, it insults my intelligence to think that God or source or whatever this divinity is of love, but then people think that they would have to kill something and consume it to live. Like, that goes against my own intuitive common sense.
So in your perspective, do you think that the suffering that the animals, like, before dying, that energy can also affect our energy?
Yes. Everything is a frequency. Why do you think you can go near somebody and be like, oh, I think I have a bad feeling about this person, and then you feel eerie? That's the same thing. We're eating these foods, and then it's like, well, we pray over our food, this and that. I said, you know what? Maybe that helps, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't be consuming meat. And I mean, I know it's people are so jaded, but like when you look at people like the Liver King, I had a video on the Liver King years before he got caught using steroids. And my video got taken down, but because I was like, my videos were already going out 3 years ago, I come across it sometimes, and it's like I called that. Like I knew, I can tell just by the way a person's skin looks. Like I know what they're doing wrong usually. And it's not just that, like you look at people like Carnivore MD. Carnivore MD looks old. You know? Like meat ages you.
Yeah.
It kills you inside. And then there's going to be all these collective studies about, oh, meat does all these things, and it's because 90% of our population are mineral deficient. So the only way you're going to thrive is to get minerals, and if the only way you can get it is through meat, or that's the only way you think you can get it. And the thing is, of course, if I feel great eating meat, what am I going to do? I'm going to just keep eating the meat, you know, just because they don't know better. So it's like, one, I've had to unlearn everything, you know, working at a gym for over 10 years. It's everything is backwards. It really is. And you're going to quickly learn that they're not lying about a few things, they're lying about everything. So. And
you used to be like that guy that used to take like whey protein, I don't know, maybe steroids even.
Yes. I never ever took gear, stacked any forms of steroids, and I can tell you, if you ever want to find out whether or not someone's doing steroids, this is going to be kind of strange, but just, I'm relaxed. Try just pinch this and feel how soft and squishy it is. You see how soft that is?
Yeah.
When someone is doing steroids, their arms, even when relaxed, it feels tight. It feels like a balloon a little bit. That's when they're taking creatine and they're taking some form of supplementation that's unnatural. So when I look at people's skins, the pigmentation, just like you can see, like I have really soft skin, and it's a reflection of what I do, you know. And
because
so
before it wasn't like that, it was different. You noticed the difference. On
I mean, my skin. I was already like, I always had like a really like
skin,
good skin, but like I didn't think it could get this good, you know. And the whole thing is, whey protein is a waste product. Whey protein is like a dairy discharge. And the thing is, there's so much of it that they're just like, well, what do we do with it? Let's bottle it up and sell it back to people and make money. It's like protein's a multi-trillion-dollar business. And it's like, and people don't even realize that. Like, there's a reason why, like on the television, it's have some steak, have some eggs, have some cheese, get your protein powder, and then the next commercial is, oh, are you not feeling well?
Yeah.
You know, take this one pill to be the best version of you. Side effects might be internal bleeding, nausea, diarrhea. Like, it's you have the TV telling you a vision, programming you.
But Zachariah, right now you just eat greens, just greens.
I eat a lot of I have a lot of fresh pressed juice, mostly fruit. The thing is, your body's made up of mostly what? Water. So water, it's not like if I were to poke you, water comes oozing out. It's a structured jelly water that your body's made up of. And that's when you cut open a fruit, that structured jelly water, H3O2, that's what you need. That's what hydrates you. The water that we drink doesn't hydrate you. If anything, if you're not drinking spring water, you're depriving yourself of minerals again. And the reason that is because water is a very intelligent organism. So when water goes down a mountain, its natural flow, and what it does is it will seek minerals and strip minerals so that it's mineral rich water. That's why the springs have minerals in it. But the thing is, if you're drinking water that doesn't have minerals, guess what it does?
Water,
it's going to seek the minerals in your body and strip you of them versus give them to you.
Okay, do you have any machine or?
I drink Kangen water. There is no minerals in it, but you can just put like a small pinch of sea salt in it to help. And but for the most part, I'll drink the Kangen water. I barely drink water at all. Like, it's rare.
Really?
Yeah. I'll probably drink like maybe like a glass like this big, and I work out every day. Like, barely any water. So
your skin doesn't feel like dehydrated, because like we hear like if you don't drink enough water, you're gonna like
you damage your kidney or
the thing is, if you're not fasting, then you'll be damaging your body.
Oh.
What people don't know is when you stop eating food for at least 24 hours, between the 24-hour mark and 48-hour mark, your cells, your red blood cells, will break in half and produce hydrogen. People don't know that. Your body produces water when you fast.
So you fast currently?
Oh yeah. I usually eat. I do a minimum of 24 hours every day. But when
you eat once a day.
Before I met my girlfriend and I was a lot in better shape than this, I was usually eating only on Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Oh.
And the thing is, what happens when you stop eating for 3 days, you activate your growth hormone, and so you start to produce stem cells. And right now, I actually work with a holistic group where I give them my urine to give to old people to help them with rheumatoid arthritis. What is that? It helps them with their brain, reversing Alzheimer's, and it's because my urine has around, I think it was something around 6 to 8 times the amount of stem cells than a healthy person. And it's because I fast so much. So what they perceive as healthy now, people's stem cells, you're nothing's happening. So because I fast so much, I produce so many stem cells. And then when you also take things like cacao, cacao helps it that alone can increase your stem cells. And that's what you need. Your stem cells, when you start to produce that, they'll go everywhere. That's why, like, it didn't make sense for me in the span of 3 weeks to take my bench from 250 to 285, eating nothing but mangoes and dragon fruit and honey, and fasting. Doing that on Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Didn't make sense. And it was because the body actually doesn't need protein. It needs, well, people argue and say, oh, there's protein in your fruit. I'm like, I'm not taking 150 grams of protein a day to put on this muscle, you know?
Yeah.
So the honest truth is the body's interdependent, less is more. And when you stress your body adequately, your DNA activates. And that's how you that's how your body will do the things that it's supposed to. But what happens is we're in states of consumption and it shuts our body down. And also, if you know what I talked about this in one of my videos, the intestine villi. So when you're constantly like going, it's like you're putting your body through a drive-through. There's these tentacles in your intestine that when food passes it will absorb the nutrients. But if you're constantly eating things that are heavy and also you're eating all the time, those villi flatten. So your body's not absorbing nutrients. So the thing is, your body's that amazing, like that divine. You could literally, even if you're at 7% body fat, when your body kicks into ketosis as a survival mechanism, that can sustain you for over a month, no problem.
Really?
Yes.
The
It's equivalent.
the ketosis start after 3 hours or?
No, ketosis starts after 24 hours.
24
So
hours.
if you're fasting, anybody who does intermittent fasting, you're hurting yourself. Like, oh, I don't eat for 16 hours.
Oh.
You need to do a minimum of 24 hours. Your body is really interdependent. It's really like interdependent. So when you stop your consumption, like, hunger is not real. You're not eating because you're hungry. You're feeding an addiction. That's why when you start to fast, you get a headache. It's because you're having withdrawals. It's like, oh, I need my coffee. I need to go get my caramel macchiato from Starbucks. You know, I love those, by the way. I don't drink them, but those were.
That's your favorite.
Yeah, I had gone out with this woman before, and she's like, I can't start my day without caramel macchiato, and I'm like, what is that? And she's just like, you've never had one, and when I had one, it was.
You're like, okay.
Every day before work, I'd be over there. Yeah, but it's a ritual, you know. Everybody going to Starbucks every morning. It's a religious thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And once you're hooked, you're hooked. Like there is a reason why there's a Starbucks in every city almost, and if not two of them.
Every country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Just
Stay
think of it this
country.
way. In Kaneohe alone, just in Kaneohe,
Yeah.
there's a Starbucks inside the mall. There's a Starbucks across from the mall. There's a Starbucks at Windward City.
There's three.
And for all I know, there could be one more, and I just don't know.
For you guys that don't know, Kaneohe has very small community, so it's like
It's a small community already, but yet they have to have 3 Starbucks there.
Yeah. In fact, now changing the subject a little bit, we see a lot of the dependence on your neck.
Yes.
What is the? What are
yeah.
those?
Have you ever heard of Moldavite?
Moldavite. What is that?
So Moldavite basically puts you on your life path really quickly.
Is that a crystal, a rock?
It's a crystal, yeah.
Crystal.
So they'll say that it's from a fallen meteor, but I know this is gonna be a lot of people will. We're actually in a dome, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're it's flat. We're on a flat plane of existence. This is how the torus field works. And they say that they say it's a meteor, but from what I feel like it is it's actually a calcified pineal gland of a giant, and that's why you can't find them now. There's the mine wherever they were, there's none left. So like this rock alone goes for about 7,600 because of how big it is. If you ever see Moldavite pieces, they're tiny. And so I don't have one, but I have two.
Oh.
And then I'm also wearing earrings. If you really want to know, just go on TikTok and hashtag Moldavite and watch all the people crying like, don't wear this stone. Yeah, they cry. And it's because their life is it will put you on your life course really quickly. And even when you wear it, you're going to feel nauseous. You're going to feel like this pit in your stomach because it's a very high frequency rock. And then this is just some red jasper. It just helps with like abundance and warding off bad
energy.
Yeah.
So you did notice a difference when you started wearing
Oh
Moldavite?
yeah, I've been wearing Moldavite. I had another piece of Moldavite I wore for 4 years, and I noticed when I would take it off, it would feel different. And I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, you're giving it power." This is the thing: a crystal is like a battery that you put in a remote control to turn on the television. We're not here to worship the crystals. You know, we're not idolizing
Giving
crystals.
power.
These crystals are tools to help us ascend our consciousness. And the thing is, what you have to understand is a crystal is formed under the highest forms of heat. That's why if you go to Sedona, there's vortexes everywhere because the mountain gets struck by lightning like 7,000 times, and that's how a crystal is formed. The lightning is like 10,000 times hotter than the sun or something like that. And when it hits the sand, it crystallizes. Like this is all heated sand. All the glass and stuff. The way they make everything is through melting this process, and essentially once you understand that, you can use them. Like I sleep with crystals. Like my whole bed is just there's crystals everywhere. Yeah.
I like to say crystals are like amplifier of energy too, because they because some people are like, you're giving power to a rock, like you're worshiping this, but it's not. It's really like when you look at how a computer works, or like the watch is like all like right.
This is what I recommend people do. Like people don't understand the power that crystals have. So what you do is I have a meditation that I teach. It's just the simple one of laying down on your back and focusing on not moving, getting in that pulling sensation. And when you're in that, but before you do that, of course, go get a big crystal and put it under your pillow and just meditate on it. And when you do that meditation, when you get into that pulling sensation, you can feel your energy. Like I'm saying, you can spin your energy, and you feel it. Like you're like, what the heck? Like you can sit in that pulling sensation, and I would imagine energy hitting my chest and exploding, and I would feel something tap my chest and ice spreading, and I'd be like I'd be freaking out, like what is that? But with the crystal, I have like different crystals, and I can feel them pulsating, like, and like I have a big one over here, like a Lumerian one over here, and they both do put out different throbbing frequencies. Yeah. So like that, they're real. It's not like a joke, you know. And that's why like when people look at me and I got all these crystals on, and they think it's funny. I'm like, I think it's funny you're not wearing any crystals, you know.
No, you need to go to Brazil because Brazil.
Oh yes.
The last time I went to Brazil, I had 2 luggages, and I bought this shoe because in Brazil it's so cheap, right? So I bought these 2 big pieces of, and each bag of mine had a huge piece of crystal. And my mom was like, "Are you like, how about all the rest of your stuff?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna carry the crystals back to US." Oh my goodness.
I really want to go crystal mining.
Yeah.
That seems like it would
fun,
be really fun. Yeah.
But there's a crystal. For the metal, is have any significance?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you wrap a crystal in copper, it can amplify it by like 20 to 30%. That's why you want to wrap things in copper. Like
copper.
if you want your plants to grow, make a little copper rod and stick it in the soil right next to it.
Because it's the energy.
Yes. It's an antenna, and it's the same thing with like silver. So silver is an amplifier, gold is an amplifier, and these things never rust. So that's why you want to wrap things in it. Like I have so much copper at my house, and it's just I just hold it, you know. And the whole concept of helping your consciousness ascend The higher my frequency goes, the more information I can digest and understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing, is that's what we're doing. You asked me earlier, what is the point of us being here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily have a full answer for that, but one thing that I definitely know for sure, it is to come here and become aware. To become more aware.
More aware.
Yeah.
Do you think that has to do with the pineal gland? Can you
Oh,
talk
yeah.
a little bit
So-
more about that?
So your pineal gland has, you have a crystal in your head. And that crystal is there's a bunch of them. They're piezoelectric crystals.
Mhm.
And science today can actually measure a signal being sent. There's an electrical signal being sent and received. And you know what they find that is? That's a feedback loop.
Mm.
So your mind is creating your reality. And people don't realize that. And so how you think and feel is creating your reality. And that's the feedback loop that's being sent. That's the electrical signal. And that's why when it comes to manifesting, you have to become the experience of what you want to manifest.
Before it.
Yes,
comes
before you
back.
get it. And so the whole concept of you chasing something, I'm manifesting this, I'm chasing that. You don't chase a dream. If you're chasing a dream, you're giving
Separation.
Yeah, it's running away from you. You know,
Yeah.
I'm attracting my dream. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what that whole pineal gland is. And what's really scary is all illnesses and diseases can be traced back. Every single one. Anytime anyone's died from any type of cancer, disease, whatever it is, they had a calcified pineal gland.
But how activate?
How do you decalcify it?
Fasting. You could even put a crystal on your head, and that would help.
Any
Don't matter. Anything that's amplified with energy. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to spark the dielectric field to just whoop, 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 just activate. And the whole thing with the pineal gland is it regulates everything in your body. That's why when you eat you have the fluoride in the water, you have all of these foods that we're eating, it's calcifying your pineal gland because it's disrupting the way your body regulates. Oh, my hormones are messed up. Oh, I have this happens. My hair is falling out. All of these problems. It's all linked to having a calcified pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get your pineal gland right, it's really difficult for you to ever get sick. It's almost nearly impossible. And that's the thing. And if you are getting sick, then there is calcification there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what regulates everything in your body.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. No, thank you, Zachariah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And Zach, how would you? Thank you for sharing that. How would you say that people can amplify their intuition and also, become more conscious and start to awaken? And
I'll be honest, it all starts with the food. If you
food.
can't control what you eat, you can't control your life. It's that simple. So once people start controlling themselves, once you're able to tell your mind what you want,
mm-hmm.
and your mind's not telling you what it wants, it's not controlling you because you're like, oh, I want to go eat this, like cravings. Like you have to be able to
control it.
to stand your ground.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is, if people want to increase their awareness, it's
Mhm.
just one, get out of a state of consumption.
Mm-hmm.
When you can actually truly separate from that type of state of consumption, you're gonna really feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of the clients that I've had, I've only had, like, I want to say maybe around, like maybe 40 people that I actually worked with,
Mhm.
because it's a timely thing.
Yeah.
I only worked with them for like maybe 2 to 3 days, and they were like, just talking to them. That's all it was. And I was able to tell them exactly what they needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, they call me like weeks later, life's transformed.
Major transformation.
Yeah, and that's the most beautiful thing is, if people want to increase their awareness, you need to be around like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
You need to look at your circle. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
And-
say all the time, life is divine, right?
Yes, that's what this is. Omnia Divina, all is divine. And that's the thing. If everything is divine, life is always happening for me, not to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, I'm never going to externalize what I'm experiencing. That's what we have today. People are like, I'm depressed and I have anxiety. No offense if you have that. But the whole thing is, if you're depressed and you have anxiety and you're walking around wearing it like a badge on your sleeve, you're not doing anything. You're not helping anyone, and you're not helping yourself.
Mhm.
Because if you're depressed, if you have anxiety,
Mhm.
those things are self-inflicted. And no matter how people say it, it's like, how am I inflicting that? It's when you have a nightmare constantly, you're gonna keep having the nightmares because that's how manifestation works. That's how reality works. Is you manifest your own reality. So if I need to overcome fear, my unconscious mind is gonna send me nightmares, and that's me doing it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I explain to people, if you are someone who's Jesus came to me, Allah came to me, that wasn't Jesus, that wasn't Allah,
Mm-hmm.
that was you. You practice in a religion that has made you believe something.
Mm-hmm.
And a belief is the absence of knowing. Like when I ask people, I say, do you know your mom and dad? Do you know that these are your mom and dad? Or do you believe they're your mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
Having a belief is detrimental to your reality. That's what people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
So I have certain beliefs of what I feel like I can do, but when it comes to my reality, I live in a state of knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So when Jesus comes to me and he makes me feel safe, that is my highest self coming to me to make me feel comfortable. But because I've been conscripted to a degree, I'm thinking this is Jesus of the Christian Bible, and he's that's the true religion.
Yeah.
And then, Buddha came to me. The Galactic Federation came to me, and they start speaking light language. It's the same concept. Whatever belief system you put on yourself is what's going to transform your reality.
Mm-hmm.
I started speaking tongues, light language, it's the same thing. And that's the thing, people don't want to accept that. And that's the thing, we have to get to a point of understanding everything is in the metaphysical. It's not something that is meant to be taken literal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to come down and save me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I keep that up, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit on this couch and be a potato and he's going to come and save me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the Bible when, I can't remember who it was stuck out in the ocean, and he was begging Jesus or God to come and save him, and a boat came and said, hey, and he's like, you don't have to save me, God's got me, God's going to save me. He's like, God, please come save me. And then another boat comes by,
Yeah.
and then he ends up dying and going to heaven, and then he's like, God, where were you? He's like, I sent you 3 boats.
Yeah. Before you
Yeah.
finish, I have one more question.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah.
Yeah. About the masturbation.
Masturbation.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a taboo. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can
So, for women have, okay, this is another thing. I'll say 2 things here.
Mm-hmm.
The Taurus is also a representation of the masculine and feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen a Taurus, there's the
We
let
have
me see.
here. Show it in the book.
So when you, let me find it in here. Let me find a good one. And that's how, like, nature is feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see.
How long did it take Julio to put that book together?
Oh, this was like over 2 years of
2
information.
years of information.
But now he's got a handle on everything, so we're able to pump out books a lot quicker. And this was beautifully done. Okay, so so this is, they can't really see this, but you see this? So this is the feminine energy that goes around, so you can see my tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, it's kind of hard to see it, but when it comes to the Taurus, the masculine and feminine energy, if you ever see what they say is a nuclear warhead go off, how there's a donut cloud with the mushroom. There's the donut mushroom.
Yeah, the mushroom.
So the donut is the vagina, and
Okay.
the mushroom cloud is the penis,
Mhm.
and so that is the penis going through the vagina, and so that is a divine masculine and divine feminine reaction of energy, and that is what we create, and that's why the system wants to invert that. That's why, in one of my videos, it's very controversial, but I talk about the transgenderism will lead us to transhumanism, which is an androgynous android. And you're at that point, if you're both sexes, you're neither of the sexes. You see? And the whole thing is by you inverting your energy. So if I'm born a male, it is my God-given divinity to be able to step into a divine masculine because I'm a male with those male parts, the male chromosomes, everything. The way my pineal gland functions, I have the cycle of a man. My cycle is 21 days. I'm regulated by the sun. And that's why there's the sun and the moon. The moon is the moon, and then the sun is Horus. And that's where we get hormones. And depending when the sun is above us, I get all my powerful outer energy, and then when the moon is above us and the sun's further away, my energy inverts itself, and now I'm very creative. I dream, and those are the two things, and that's why women, the menstrual cycles follow the moon, the cycles of the moon. So we have the masculine and the feminine energy, and the system is trying to invert that. So it's like we're seeing men dressed up as women that have none of the qualities of a man, impersonating all the qualities of a woman. Logically, to me, it insults my intelligence, but how did that happen? They're being brainwashed to do that. Like, and I'm not shaming anyone who's choosing that route, because there's atrazine in the water, nail polish messes with our hormones, the deodorant we wear messes with our hormones. There's so many things that we're not taking into accountability that is already working against us, making us invert that energy. So at the end of the day, all of our becomings is not us. Like, their becoming is not them. They didn't do that to themselves. Something subconsciously has infiltrated them, whether it's through the food, the television, the frequencies, through music. It doesn't matter. We're getting hit by a trifecta. You have your soul, your mind, and your body. That's a tripod. If you kick out one of those legs, the whole system collapses. And that's why you're getting attacked on all three sides. And that's why you come to people and you're just like, how did this happen? You're just blown away. So I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm just saying that the agenda of the opposers or the elite, the system, which is why they're trying to like put it in our kids. Like, the fact that my kid can go to school and come home with some kind of gender identity crisis is the dumbest thing ever. This didn't exist. Kids didn't have this. Like, a kid should, like, my son's not going to go to school. He's not going to go to any forms of public school. I'm very, very aware and enlightened, and I want him to absorb everything from me at all times, and I will teach him everything that he needs to know. And that's what most parents should be doing. Because what happens is, you're seeing your kid like maybe 35 minutes of quality time every week, because you come home from work, you say hi to them, they do their stuff, they go do whatever, you spend like mediocre time, you're not focused. Maybe you spend the weekend with them, so it's like, at the end of the day, it's our generation's, it's up to this generation that's having kids to lead and raise the next powerful kids, to overthrow this hierarchy of whatever it is. So when it comes to our energy, it's very sacred. It's very important for us to stay in our lanes and not invert that. And I know people will try to crucify me about that and be like, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, and I'm like, I'm not. I have friends that are gay, I have friends that are transgender, and they yell at me, but the thing is, I've known them for so long, they still love me. And I tell them straight up, I say, hey, I'm not trying to jab at you, I'm just saying this is...
So let's make it clear, you respect them.
Yeah, I respect them. This is
yeah.
just what their agenda is.
You're just trying to explain the rules of it. Yeah.
But people want to remain ignorant, and ignorant is ignorance of the truth. They want to ignore it. They want to live... They don't want anyone trying to tell them how to live, but yet they gave up their beliefs. They basically were given everything that they know now, And the whole thing is, you need to broaden your perspective by consuming as much information as possible. And that's how this works. And that's my job. That's why I go in there and I just...
Thank you.
My videos are just lightning quick, and I just watch people lose their mind.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Zach,
sharing.
if you could leave, just to wrap up the podcast today, if you could leave the world just one message, what would that be? If you could just like leave everybody with one single message.
Wow. This is very powerful to find a message.
I know there are so many, but like one that you think it would be like the most.
I'm trying to think of maybe a quote or something. This is a hard message. Like, I don't know what to say.
Or something that has impacted you that you would, would want to share.
I would say that this is hard. My conclusion and realization is that it's very important for people to understand what is happening to them. Is when it comes to this system, is criminal. And the more you understand that the government is not real, I don't think people realize this, but BlackRock advises Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, our president. BlackRock controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are able to actually stop ignoring things and just accept the things that you are seeing, you might be able to elevate out of the awareness that you're in. And I could say this so much better, but the words aren't coming to me.
Yeah, we got the idea of what you're trying to say. I know.
It's up to us.
Yeah.
It really is up to us. And the more you side with the government, the longer this will prevail. And I'm not trying to say like the government is evil. I know that there's people that go into politics to try to do good. But at the end of the day, most of them just become puppets, because it doesn't matter what you say. When you become a politician, for the most part, you're being controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see that in Hawaii. We saw that with Ige.
Yes.
Like these people aren't in power. Joe Biden is not in power. There are people, pardon my language, that have their hands shoved so far up their ass, they're working their mouth like a puppet.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. That's how all the politics work. That's how all of these things work. And it's all to coerce this agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment people wake up to this realization that they have an agenda that is meant to keep them in control, then that's the best thing that will happen. And the last thing I will say, there was an experiment. This is what happened. This is what happened to our society. There was an experiment that they took 5 monkeys, and they put these monkeys in an enclosure with a ladder in the middle and a bunch of bananas at the top. And one of the monkeys started climbing up the ladder to go grab the bananas, and a man comes in with a fire hose and blasts the monkey off the ladder and sprays every single one of the monkeys. So now the monkeys are like, shoot, do we not go on that ladder? So then of course another monkey tries, and of course the man comes out, fire hose the monkey off the ladder, sprays every single monkey. Now the monkeys know not to go on the ladder. They take one of those monkeys out and they put a brand new one. And that monkey's like, oh my gosh, bananas. The monkey starts to climb up the ladder. Before he even gets halfway, the other 4 monkeys yank him down and nearly beat him to death. And so now that monkey knows, oh my gosh, don't touch the ladder. So then they do this experiment again. They take 2 monkeys out. And now one of the new monkeys is like, oh my gosh, bananas. So that monkey starts to climb. 3 of the monkeys pull that monkey off the ladder, start beating him to death. The other monkey, that is new as well, doesn't even know why they're beating that monkey. He joins it and just starts beating up the monkey. He doesn't even know why he's beating the monkey. And they keep repeating this process until all the monkeys live in this enclosure and none of them touch the ladder, but none of them know why. And that is what they have done to our society. It's time to wake up, yes.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Thank you, Zach, for sharing. I know he has so much knowledge that we could sit here for hours. Like, if you go, we're gonna put the link for his social media, and he explains a lot of things in there. But thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today and being here on our podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate
I'm very happy
you.
we made this happen.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.